Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Scorpio December 1, 2022. In the first part of the day, pressures might force an issue as Mercury and Mars form an opposition, bringing a tense matter to a head, particularly about work, responsibilities, and service. Certain people may want things to happen quickly, but rushing seems to lead to errors now. However, you do have a chance to enjoy others without all the drama and disagreement later today when passions subside. In the meantime, it's all too easy to become all wound up, and impulsive speech and actions may be cause for regret, making it better to keep things as steady as you can. Of course, what's emerging may need your attention, but it's best not to approach these issues with impatience. Consider that you're more sensitive to imbalances of power today, and it's not an ideal time to gain an edge, as you are likely to feel that if you push too hard, you wind up at square one or worse. Later today, you're ready to focus on the details. You might gain new and useful information that helps clarify work or health matters. Thank your lucky stars today. Mental Mercury, the planet of the mind and communication, is swirling through the heavens and will make a gorgeous alignment with our great taskmaster planet. Whenever our cosmic messenger links with Saturn, you are able to embody a more grounded, responsible, and realistic approach to life and your relationships. Choose to infuse this energy into discussions regarding long-term planning and goals with your sweetheart. If you make a promise, a plan, or formalize agreements together, you are harnessing the energies of manifestation and success. Think practically, and you'll be rewarded. Address any issues in a professional manner. It might be time to clear the air when Mercury in Sagittarius opposes Mars retrograde in Gemini and sextiles Saturn in Aquarius. There might be lingering issues involving assets, property, or even control. Instead of letting your frustration build up over time, you should use these transits to let your colleagues know where you stand. However, keep your tone, turf, and timing in mind so that the conversation does not go awry. If you are not careful, there might be a clash of strong opinions at work today. The moon's departure from your financial sector today will leave you with your financial instincts and imagination fueled and emotionally and intuitively engaged as support between Saturn here and Mars in an intuitive and imaginative part of your chart continues to tighten. This is not just giving you the confidence to take your financial power back moving forward, but to rewrite how to label the past to better empower you. Things may not go as planned today. Just when you are starting to get things going your way, something can happen to upset the whole picture. What you do in a situation like this says a lot about you. In order to have the patience and endurance you will need, be sure to get aerobic exercise. The oxygen in your bloodstream is converted directly into patience. And a bit of spicy food is good to get the toxins out of your blood, too. This is a day where your teaching talents can really shine through. Perhaps you don't consider yourself much of a teacher, but you may be overlooking a strong skill within by thinking this way. If you are a parent and are able to sit down and help your child with homework, realize that this takes teaching skills. If you've ever explained how to do something to another person, you are already doing it. Consider sharing your knowledge on a greater scale, such as lecturing or holding a workshop in your workplace. This might be the heart of the working week, but the moon's return to an adventurous part of your chart today couldn't come with better timing. The moon returns in time to guide Jupiter into his final 3 weeks and to take advantage of Neptune's final days in retrograde motion here, but this is not the only advantage. This comes just as Mercury not only moves into his final 7 days in your work sector, but just as pushback from Mars is putting how well you know when to keep your work hat on and when to take it off to the test. While the Sun left your romantic sector last week, ending all planetary activity on the romantic front for the year, as the moon returns to an adventurous part of your chart today, there will still be enough romantic sentiment for this to pick up on and amplify. This brings you back to the spirit of romance and adventure that the planets had helped to generate over recent weeks. Our eyes in the sky. Try to get in some light exercise before heading off to work, and try to avoid grabbing that extra cup of coffee, or it could lead to a case of the jitters. Today has a cerebral vibe that might get the better of you, making it important that you ground yourself and focus on your breath throughout the day. Should you begin to feel overwhelmed, take a step back and rest, if only for a few minutes. Watch out for a communication breakdown this afternoon when the moon shares an off-kilter connection. Choose your words with care while this energy is present so you can avoid arguments. Your ability to understand any situation is good, and you're able to undertake any sort of mental task. Equally, you're communicating without any difficulty, so possible negotiations or similar conversations turn out to be successful. You also find your general level of curiosity is heightened, and you're keen to acquire knowledge and learn as much as you can. You apply yourself to a subject that has stimulated your interest over a sustained period. It's easier for you to obtain the necessary focus you need, and you're more motivated than you have ever been before. Use this newfound enthusiasm and concentrate on making contacts to solve any outstanding issues needed for a successful outcome. Luckily, the energy transforms this evening, which should help you quickly release any unpleasant thoughts or situations you found yourself in today. The cosmic weather is quiet today, until Mercury in Sagittarius opposes retrograde Mars in Gemini, provoking a war of words. Offensive or defensive language is unlikely to help us make our point. We are nervous and quick to anger, and although we may have good talking points to back up our arguments, we are apt to flit from talking point to talking point without finishing our thoughts. Our inability to stay on topic means that civilized discussions can quickly devolve into yelling matches. We are still in a long lunar void, of course, which began last night, and must attempt to remain patient now, even if someone is intent on getting up in our faces. If possible, avoid electing this day to finally air out long-held grievances. Guard against the perils of extravagance and overindulgence in any way you can. Your current fantasies are unlikely to be fulfilled, they're just excessively optimistic. Try not to feel so dissatisfied with your circumstances and be as realistic as possible, instead of needlessly having such impractical feelings and yearnings that ultimately don't make you happy. If the response you get from prospective dates is not always positive, consider how your approach might be improved. You may want to ask what you could change about yourself. Becoming more self-aware can help you understand what to change, or at least help you appreciate another's point of view or not. It will be hard interacting with people today. You overreact to the smallest things and feel completely misunderstood. It would do you good to take a step back, clear your thoughts, and start tackling the arguments in a calmer way. In the late afternoon, the moon enters Pisces, ending its void of course, which began late last night. Over the next 2 days, our creative and spiritual senses are enlivened. This is a time to trust our intuition, examine our subconscious workings, and get in touch with the numinous and liminal. It is an ideal lunar period for working with divination techniques like tarot or scrying. Artistic pastimes such as painting or making music are also favored. If we are stressed, bathing, showering, or relaxing near bodies of water can be rejuvenating.